Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back to This Is Not a Podcast. It's just my thoughts with Rob Markman. Shout out to everybody who's been watching, liking, subscribing. Appreciate you all. For real, really love what we've been building here. A lot going on in hip hop the past couple of weeks. Kendrick Lamar dropped his GNX album and then announced a tour. Super Bowl is coming up, Grammy is coming up, so it's gonna be a lot of Kendrick Lamar in the next couple of months. Drake filing against UMG, the petition against UMG. There's a court date coming, I believe, December 20th. We'll see what happens there. Now Jay-Z has his legal situation and the allegations levied against him. I'm going to get the paperwork and read through it and see if there's anything more to discuss there. Also, Cole's Inevitable series, his audio series that he's been doing with him and Ebe, I think is fantastic. We've been talking about that a bit and all the classic mixtapes he's uploading to DSPs and unreleased music that he's dropping. There's an anniversary edition of Forest Hills Drive coming with 8 additional songs, man. We'll probably get into that. Plus, there's the Forest Hills Drive concert and MSG on 12/16. Maybe we'll talk about that. Then end of the year is coming, so I'll definitely talk about it. I want to have a conversation with y'all about y'all favorite albums of the year. Definitely gonna talk about my favorite albums of the year. I don't know. I'm figuring out the format. I don't know if I'm gonna do like this best list of 24. It's all subjective, man. So it just might be my favorites. And we could talk about your favorites. I feel like it gets distracting the other way, man. I'm just one guy with one opinion, right? But regardless of all that, this has been a video that I've been meaning to make because look, man, we talk about Kendrick a lot, we talk about Drake a lot, we talk about Cole a lot, and deservedly so. I mean, what a year in hip hop, and these are some of the biggest artists that we have, and not just the biggest in terms of stature, but really the most talented. Some of the most talented, and gives us some of the best music that we have, especially currently. But hip hop doesn't live and die by 3 artists or a handful of artists or your favorite artists or whatever. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of dope artists doing some dope things. So, I just want to take some time to talk about 2 albums that I've been listening. They've been out for a couple of weeks, but I have been listening to them and absorbing. One is Cordae, the Crossroads, and the other one is Skyzoo, Keep Me Company. Hopefully you heard of them. If not, maybe I could put you on to something. Who knows? But when it comes to Cordae, I'm just a fan of the evolution of him as an artist, right? He started out, at least in art consciousness, as YBN Cordae, as part of YBN Namir's crew. It was YBN Namir, Almighty J, and then, YBN Cordae. They were like a crew. I guess they used to play games online, and that's where the YBN tag came from. And, when Namir made it in music, then Cordae came after. But Cordae had freestyles. He was always different too. He didn't sound like Namir or Almighty J. It always felt like he was like an outlier creatively. Where does he fit in with them? But I remember he had freestyles on World Star. He did an Eminem "Hi, My Name Is" freestyle, and then he did a J. Cole freestyle. Remember when J. Cole dropped 1985 and was kind of talking to Lil Pump. Well, it wasn't kind of talking. He was talking to Lil Pump, man, but really talking to the younger generation. So Cole did a flip and response, talking to the older generation, and over the 1985 beat, and that was in 2018. And that's when I first met Cordae too. I brought him into Genius to break down the lyrics for that freestyle. You can still find it on YouTube if you look it up. But when I met him then, he was clearly like this young kid. I remember just stopping in the lobby and just talking to him, and like this young kid who was like beyond his years. I remember him telling me then that he dedicated his Sundays. I don't know if he still does it now, but then he dedicated his Sundays where he would just go down a rabbit hole and listen to classic hip hop. And I remember him dropping. I specifically remember him name dropping KRS-One and stuff like that. So I was like, oh wow, like I mean, I feel like the young generation deserves to have their own things. They deserve to have their own classics. They deserve to have their own greats. Like they deserve to champion the stuff that is relevant to their time. But I also do believe in studying what came before you in anything that you do, right? And so, I was like, okay, this kid is clearly young. Like he got a dope young energy about him, but okay, he's taking the time to figure out what KRS-One was saying before him or some of the other guys. So he just always kind of seemed different to me, which was dope. Like, so, and then, we kind of just built a relationship. I became a fan from there. But The Lost Boy was his debut album in 2019. Then he dropped From a Bird's Eye View in 2022, and now he has the Crossroads. Since then, I mean, he's dropped YBN from his name. He's not part of the crew anymore. He just goes by Cordae. We've seen him in a high-profile relationship with Naomi Osaka, and he's become a father. So literally, like, if you've been paying attention to this guy, really watching him grow up. I mean, he's 27 now. He's a grown man. But watching him grow and mature and watch his skill set get better and watch the way he just puts his art together evolve has been dope. So, he's always been beyond his years. But like I said, the evolution, like listening to this album, I'm just like, man, look at how far this guy has come. And then it's like, how much farther does he have to go? It's been dope to watch. So the album's called Crossroads. The intro is just like a soulful rework of Bone Thugs, Meet Me at the Crossroads. I know that record, classic record. He talked to Billboard and he talked about why he named the album Crossroads. He said, it was like life or death. If I go right, everything is going to be perfect. And yay, life is great. And if I go left, all life is horrible. And then I kind of realized that one decision doesn't hold that much weight. It's accumulation of decisions. So, this album, to me, just represents kind of growth, making the decisions. Which path are you going to take? What do you want out of your life? '06 Dreamin' is really the first song that we hear. That Crossroad intro is just like a short intro interlude. There's no rhymes on it. '06 Dreamin' is a dope joint. Like, that stuck out to me right away. It's a dope story joint. Cordae talks about his mom, who was an aspiring singer. So she had dreams of being an artist too. She left and to go try out for American Idol, and she would leave Cordae with his grandmother, and she also tried out for making the band, but didn't make it. And Cordae talks about the heartbreak, like his mom would leave, and he would have these dreams of like, oh my gosh, she's going to American Idol, she's gonna come back, she's gonna win the whole thing. We're gonna be rich, we're gonna get out of this place, we're gonna grow, and being heartbroken when he found out that she didn't make it very far. And then he tells a story of him starting to rhyme himself, like him starting his own musical aspirations. And then, he actually makes it. So the song is like really beautiful. Like, it's a really dope storytelling joint, really heartfelt. And then the amazing part is that he samples one of his mother's songs. Now, obviously, we don't know the song. We aren't familiar with it. His mother didn't make it very far. But it's music that Cordae is very familiar with because he heard it growing up, right? So he took one of his mom's old songs and sampled it to make this new song. So I thought that was dope. That was a dope story behind it. And '06 Dreamin' is really dope. There's a lot of Kanye influence on the album. He has a song called Nothing's Promised. It's inspired by Kanye's Heard Him Say. There's a lot of Kanye, like early Kanye influence on this album. Like, you can hear like, oh, this kid, either he grew up or he went back to listen to early Kanye, like College Dropout, Graduation, Late Registration era. Ye actually appears on No Bad News, so Ye does the hook on No Bad News. I know a lot of people were saying that it was an AI hook, that it wasn't really Ye, but Cordae confirmed it was really Ye. I think it sounds like he recorded it over an iPhone or something, but it's just like a really short hook, and Cordae built the song around that. So No Bad News, Kanye is actually on. Lil Wayne is on 2 joints, Back on the Road is Saturday Mornings, and so they seem like they have a really dope relationship. But the real great chemistry is with Cordae and Anderson .Paak. They have 2 joints too. They have a joint called Summer Drop and 210s, and it's just like really like just fun rapping. I really like the chemistry that Anderson .Paak and Cordae have, and especially on this album. And then J. Cole actually produced both those tracks, which is funny enough. So Summer Drop and 210s, standout joints. They were released as singles. I think Summer Drop was released as a single before, but J. Cole produced on both of those tracks. On 210s, Dumb Joints also has a production credit, so it wasn't solely J. Cole on one of them. But both of those joints is crazy. I want to see what happens with Cordae and Anderson .Paak next. Did they announce? Maybe they announced I could see them doing the EP or something. Like, I mean, they already halfway there. So, and again, they have dope chemistry. Shy Feeney is dedicated to Cordae's daughter. So that's a beautiful record. Now You Know is a song about his grandmother who passed. Joey Badass is on the album. Juicy J is on the album. Ty Dolla Sign's on the album. Jordan Ward and Raven Lene are both on the album. It's a really good album, man. And I know the older generation likes to talk about younger artists, like we really like to shit on younger artists. Well, when I say we too, I'm talking about the collective we, right? But I know it's hard for older generation of hip hop fans to accept what these young artists are doing. But Cordae is somebody that you might like if you haven't heard him. If you're in your 30s and 40s, and there's not a lot of new artists who excite you, like definitely give Cordae a chance. Like if you haven't heard him, he's somebody that you might like. And then not to turn him off, because I don't think he's pandering either. I think he's just being himself. So even for the younger generation, I think there are people. He obviously has young fans, and there's people who will enjoy him as well. But he's a student of the game. I'll say that, man, and so I can respect that. As far as Skyzoo, that's the second album that I'm talking about. Skyzoo is a veteran, indie artist, lyricist, very bar heavy. I remember Skyzoo from even, the blog era. I first learned the Skyzoo maybe in 07, 08. He did a project with Ninth Wonder early on, and Salvation was his debut. That was a fantastic album. That's such a dope album. But Skyzoo, veteran indie artist from Brooklyn, New York. If y'all haven't heard him, and if y'all heard him, forgive me. You know what I'm saying? He's underground, but dude has been around for a long time and definitely has a reputation, not just as a lyricist on his own, but he's been a writer for others. So very ball heavy, but the beats are very like soulful. A lot of jazz samples, actually. A lot of jazz samples flipped into hip hop. And the album's called Keep Me Company. He has a song on there called Record Store Day. That's a cool record about just like falling in love with a girl over like a shared love of music and different records. Lots of wordplay on this one, but again, it's like easy to listen to. There's a bit of a Tribe Called Quest influence in there. Once you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Record Store Day was a standout for me. Sleeping Beauty is another record that's dope. But it's a record about, it's something a lot of us do, right? Like it, no matter what what field you're in, like downplaying our greatness. I know I do it sometimes too. Some people call it being humble or whatever, but like just kind of downplaying how great you are, and so Sky does that, I guess. And in the record Sleeping Beauty, he's like talking to himself, like bigging himself up, like, so dope record, highly relatable. The Courtesy Call beat, there's a record called Courtesy Call. The beat is hard. It's produced by The Dagger, features Chuck D, like to me hardest beat on the album. Allende at the March is about Sky's experience watching the Million Man March as a kid and the effect that it had on him, especially seeing like a young Allende Jean Baptiste on stage at 13 years old, and probably being in awe of that, like realizing that somebody so young could use their voice to do something so powerful. So Allende at the March is a dope record. It's a lot to digest on this album in terms of lines, in terms of references. Like it's definitely joints that you have to rewind. It's definitely joints you won't catch on the first listen or the second listen or even the third listen. But at the same time, it's an easy listen. Like, how sometimes like lyrically, and I can admit this, sometimes lyrically dense records could be hard to listen to. And this isn't that. And I want to make a clear distinction. Like this is lyrically dense. It's lyrically rich. There's a lot of references in there, a lot of wordplay, but it isn't hard to listen to. It isn't like laborious to listen to. Like his flow and the music, carries it. Like, and it's just weird because it's like kind of easy listening. You could just vibe to it, and then all those jewels start to seep in. So I really appreciated that about this album. Might not be for everybody. Like I could just see people listening to it, and it might not be for you if you like are a fan of like drill or trap or there's some people who just listen to like one type of hip hop, and not even to isolate drill or trap, but me, I like to listen to everything. Like I kind of don't separate. Like there's definitely different subgenres, but there's nothing that I could sit here and I'll be like, yo, I hate to listen to. I could find something I love in every subgenre. That's just the type of fan that I am. But for me, this is my shit. Like again, I'm New York City. I'm mostly like 80s and 90s. Like I'm raised in that era, so this speaks to me in a certain way. I can appreciate other things. So if you're from that era, kind of like me, I think you'll love it. But if you're also the type of hip hop fan who's just open to listening to different type of things, I would definitely suggest adding this to your rotation. It's more of a soulful vibe, NYC culture, high level lyricism, but it's really like a dope album and really like cool to just ride out and listen to. So, that's some of the things that I'm checking out, and I'm still listening to Tyler. Still having took Blue Lips out of rotation. Still listening to Vince Staples' Dark Times. Still listening to GNX. Still listening to Cole and Rhapsody and things like that. So, I just expanded my rotation. So, let me know if y'all check these out, what y'all thought of these albums. And then if not, let me know what else y'all listening to for sure, man. But we're going to have a lot to talk about. I feel like I'm going to be on this camera a lot this week, man. So I appreciate y'all showing up, all right? So next time, peace.